I'm tired.
What time is it? It's like 10:30. Oh, my voice!
We just, woke up a few minutes ago. So don't expect, some nice voices right now. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Greetings, travelers. Let's restart.
Okay.
Gotta restart. I'm so fucking tired. Okay. Greetings, travelers. I'm Amelia.
I'm Gabby.
Welcome to the Lodge.
Today we are going to be talking about the Menendez brothers.
Wow. Ooh. That was cool. Special effect.
Nope, just my voice. The Menendez brothers. Literally, the only reason I found out about the story is because I saw these girls on TikTok being like, oh, I'd totally, what's it called? Marry a killer, right? Because the Menendez brothers are pretty fine. They look pretty... honestly, this story, I must say, it's a little sad. There are some talks about rape and child abuse, so if you're not comfortable with that, stay tuned for, some other video. Go check out another video. But the people that we need to know in the story is Eric and Lyle Menendez are, the two brothers, right?
Yeah.
And Jose and Kitty Menendez are the ones that got killed, right? We'll just put it like that. I'll keep talking. You'll understand. So, August 18th, 1989, Eric and Lyle Menendez purchased a shotgun at Big 5 Sporting Goods in San Diego, 100 miles away from their home, right? Remember that date, August 18th.
August 18th.
August 19th, their parents took them on their yacht to go shark fishing.
Wow. Can you imagine?
August 20th, the parents were shot in a total of 13 times in their den watching TV by Eric and Lyle Menendez. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. And Eric was the first one to shoot, but Lyle was the one to give, the finishing blows. So Kitty, which is the mom, had a bullet in her head, got shot through her eye, which is what killed her. And Jose was the one that got, shot in the back of the head. So these two boys, ages 21 being the oldest, which is Lyle, and then 18, which is Eric. Eric is the youngest, right? Those are the two ages. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. I shouldn't be wrong. Who knows? What they did is after they killed their parents, they left the house. They cleaned up. They went to the movie theater and bought Batman tickets to have an alibi.
Oh my god.
They cleaned up, made sure that everything looked good. And then they went back home, and then they called the cops, and that's where there's an infamous, police recording where it's I think it's Lyle when he goes my parents are dead. It's that kind of thing. It sounded like these kids were real good acting basically. So, before they were found out as suspects, right? Or they can come, what's it called? Basically, what's it called?
Convicted of murder.
Yeah, when they confessed that they killed their parents, they spent 6 months before they got put in jail. They spent over $1 million.
What?
Yeah, okay. In parties, shopping sprees, and then they spent $60,000 on a tennis coach. Well, $60,000 a year on a tennis coach because they were into tennis. They wanted to go pro with tennis, right? So I need to explain this. This happened in Beverly Hills. Their parents were killed in Beverly Hills, and at that time, mostly now, it's very much very safe. It's the suburbs here.
Yeah.
Where we live, it's very safe. His dad lived in Cuba, and he was upper society in Cuba.
Yeah.
But when everything happened with all the revolts or whatever, he ended up moving to Pennsylvania with his aunt, right? And over there is when he was I'm gonna make a name for myself, and he becoming rich. He was very rich. They were very well off. They were Then I think he was president of some kind of company, so he had to move to Beverly Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they had their like house, right? And what's it called? I guess these boys, from what I'm telling you, from what we see from the outside, is they're very privileged. They have everything they want, right? But like I'll get more into like what like the inside of the house feels like. Then I put down on my notes they were trying to be successful throughout the 6 months, and like them going on their shopping sprees and spending sprees.
Yeah.
They were trying to like, start their own business. They tried to be businessmen, and like I think it was Eric. Yeah, it was Eric was trying to go pro in tennis. So he would travel to like the Middle East and stuff like that for tennis matches. And I think it was Lyle. He was trying to open business. I think he spent like $550 on some kind of like chain restaurant thing he wanted to open that didn't end up working. But these kids are spending money. Like I think, what's it called? It was either 4 days before their parents' funerals or like a few days before their trial. They bought like $60,000 Rolexes, like $6,000. Like yeah, they were spending money like crazy.
Oh my god.
And so at this time, like they were viewed as like oh, those spoiled rich kids. Like I live off mommy and daddy's money, right?
Rich people problems.
Yeah, I know, right? And then March 18th, 1990, Lyle, like basically 6 months later, Lyle was arrested, and March 11th, 1990, Eric was arrested after he came back from Israel. Eric and Lyle had, what's it called? They're like a therapist, right? And this therapist would record their sessions, and he got them to confess to the murder of their parents, like what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
the therapist had a mistress, right? And was like trying to like show like, oh, look at these, I got the boys. Like, what's it called? Yeah, like basically trying to show off to his mistress. It was like a whole entire thing. These confession tapes took a long time to get into custody for like, not custody, like be able to use in the court as like against them. But at this time, you gotta remember is that no one liked them at all, because they seem like spoiled rich kids. Your parents died. And
well, yeah, I mean, like, when your parents die, what, like, your first thought isn't to go and buy, like, some Rolexes.
Mm-hmm. Their dad had pretty high standards for them. Like, he wanted them to go to Princeton and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But these kids were not they weren't that kind of kids. They wouldn't live up to his, like, father's expectations. Like, Lyle, I think, went to Princeton. He ended up getting suspended, and he came back. And then him and Eric got into some trouble with robbing some neighbors, right? And this whole entire thing of like, if you have money, you can get out of whatever you want, kind of thing. And like they were becoming delinquents in the sense they're like the partiers, like going out to parties all the time, like teenage stuff. But his parents didn't want that, because that was not what they raised their kids to be, right?
Yeah.
Basically, he was a disappointment to his parents. They were disappointments to his parents, or whatever. And so then the dad said he was gonna take. I think it's either the dad took him off the will. I didn't see exactly clearly, but it was either his dad took them off the will, or he was like threatening to take them off like the will.
Oh.
And then they got mad about that. And the confession tapes, you can hear that they wanted to do it for money. They killed their parents for money. And stuff like that.
But did they get the money from the will?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, how else are they gonna get all that spending money?
Yeah.
So
how much was their dad's net worth? Do you know?
No, I think there was $6 million in the will or something like that. It was a lot of crap.
Oh my god, that's freaking huge alibi.
Like basically, just like these are rich people, okay? So January, 10th, 1994. Eric's case was deadlocked, which means basically the jury couldn't agree on anything.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, that happened with Lyle, too. It took until 2 years later, April 17th, 1996, they were found guilty. So in total, this was a thing of 7 years. So,
Jeez.
I want to talk about the cases. The cases are a little, like, oof in your face. So,
Yeah.
the first time they went to court, they spent basically $1 million on a lawyer, right? They wanted the best of the best lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And then they were with another, a prosecutor, I think it is. I don't know. Defense and prosecutor, right? Prosecutor, I forgot what her name is. Her name is, like, Boschnick or something like that. Basically, she got famous off of this, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, she's very much, like, intense in court. But they were going to go off the fact that the boys are spoiled rich kids and they did this for money, right? Like, that was their defense. This is what they were trying to get them for. Wanting to get these kids for is that this was for money and money only. They only killed their parents because they're spoiled rich kids.
I'm
all that
sure
kind of
there
stuff.
is more to that.
But, like, this changed the whole entire thing of the courtroom. Then they said that the reason why they killed him is because of the abuse from their parents. Like, when you hear what happened, he said from, like, it was, like, at the age of 8 or 9, his dad started molesting him. Yeah, like, he goes into detail. There's, like, his dad, like, started to, like, massage down there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
It is horrible. And, like, he'd go into detail, like, what's it called? Like, he'd get oral from his dad, and he'd have to give oral back. And he had, like, the thing of, like, you can't go tell anyone, you know? And then, what's it called? It's, like, it's really fucked up because then
That is so fucked up.
he would do it to his brother. So Lyle would do it to Eric. So he'd take him to
Because I bet he thought it was normal.
Huh.
I mean, like...
So Lyle would take Eric into the woods, and he'd take a toothbrush with them.
No.
And then they would do stuff there.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, these poor kids. They're brainwashed.
And so then, what's it called? Remember, then they said that, like, I guess they're talking to someone at school, and they said it's not normal for, like, your dad to, like, massage your dick. And then they were like, what? Because, I mean, it was, like, secretive, I guess, in the sense, like, you can't tell anyone, because if you do, like, it'll ruin you forever, right? That kind of thing. And then, like, they said, like, I think it was Eric that said this. When he gave his testimony, he was like, oh, yeah, like, what's it called? Like, his dad would rape him. He'd come down the stairs crying, and his mom would be like, hide your tears. Like, you know, basically, like...
Oh, my God.
His mom wouldn't, like, care. He'd turn a blind eye to it. Which is, like, basically, in a sense, like, all this... Thing is, Eric was still getting raped at the age of 18. Yeah. So when he killed his dad, like, he was still getting raped by his dad.
No.
And I think it was in there, what's it called? I think a person asked, it was like, did you enjoy it? And I was like,
Why would you ask? What the fuck?
I fucking hate that. I hate that woman so much.
Did you like it? Like, what the
no,
fuck did you think?
I saw it was the prosecutor, like, Boschnick or whatever her name is. I hate her so much. Because she was trying to basically say, like, oh, the boys, like, getting raped was, like, false.
Were you consenting to incest? Like,
yeah, they were, like, basically he was trying to, like, debunk him and say, no, you're just faking this.
How do you look someone in the eyes and be like,
yeah,
you liked that? I know you did.
No,
you
and, like...
That is so fucked.
And it was just, like, a bunch of, like, they basically, like... And, like, what's it called? Like, people have testified that, like, oh, like, his dad would do, like, quizzes, right? Like, quizzes when, like, they should have learned in school. And if they got something wrong, he would get in their face and yell at them, tell them they have to get it right. And, like, basically, like, these kids were abused. Which is, like, and then people are like, no, this couldn't have happened. But it's, like, I can see it. Basically, I heard this thing was, like, their parents raised them to be killers. Which honestly makes sense. You're going to be angry at a point, especially if you're 18 and you're still getting raped. And I saw
that's, oh my God.
Yeah, it was really bad, right?
Yeah.
And so then, what's it called? I was watching a documentary and I saw this comment and it said, he can't still be getting raped at 18. Like,
yes,
that's not
you
possible.
Can.
And I was
you
like...
You absolutely can.
Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
I know. That's
who are you?
Go back into your little cave,
I know.
please.
I was like, so, I mean, that was their defense. And if you, like, I'll send you it. I'll probably we can post a link inside the,
description?
like to see the video, there's like a documentary that goes way more into detail than I am right now.
Yeah.
But like, it goes if you're me, I'll read all the comments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this one. It was like, oh, I still wouldn't kill my parents if I did that. And she was like, the first 5 years of my life, like my mom would abuse me, but I'm like,
How do you remember the first
5 years of your life? Like, I'm not like belittling you and saying like, oh, that wasn't a bad thing, because like it also is a bad thing because the first 5 years of your life you're still developing mentally.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I don't remember anything from like the ages of 10 below. So if you from 8 to like 18,
You
like
remember
that,
all
you
of
remember all
all
of it.
of it.
You remember all of it because like at 8 is like when you start remembering things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you might remember stuff from before, but like 8 is when you vividly remember stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you're 18, like you have to know. Like if you spend 10 years of your life being
Yeah.
abused and raped by your dad.
I feel like when you're little, like 5 years and like below, it's like I think you don't understand
Mhm.
what is happening to you. Unlike, like maybe when you start to get older, you'll realize like, oh, like that's not okay.
Mm-hmm. What happened beforehand, and they use this as like why they killed their parents was because of the safety, because so Lyle, I guess he wasn't still getting like abused from his parents, right? When he found out Eric was still getting abused, he got pissed because it's like his younger brother, right?
Yeah, you want
So
to
they
protect
went
your
up
siblings.
They went and confronted his dad. He was like, if you don't stop, I'm gonna go and tell everyone. I'm gonna ruin your whole entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, what's it called? Like his dad was like, if you do that, I'm gonna kill you, right? Like, kind of like the thing is like you have to watch it because it was like, we make our own choices in life. Like you have to deal with it, kind of thing. But, I mean, like, so these kids were planning on killing their parents. Like, what's it called? The way I saw it was that Eric wanted to do it faster and get it over with, and Lyle wanted to plan it more. Because like,
Mm-hmm.
it to be a perfect murder. If these boys did not brag about it, they would have been fine. They would have been fine. They would not have been like, oh, like, who killed them? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, since those two trials, which is, like, when we found out about all the abuse, became, what's it called? They just was inconclusive. They had the third case, which was, 2 years later, where they were found guilty, and that was, there's no cameras there, so we don't know what happened inside the court. Well, we kind of do. The thing is, the next trial, like, their what's it called, the prosecutor's budget, their lawyer's budget, like, was cut in half. It was, like, $10,000 per day, or something like that, which is still a lot, but, like, it wasn't as much as $1 million to do a case, right?
Yeah.
So, there was some stuff, like, I know the woman, like, ended up, like, it was, like, a shrink or something like that, to go and, like, talk to them, and then, what's it called? I think the boy sent something, and the lawyer wanted them to, like, fake it. I mean, like, change some stuff up. And then, what's it called? Basically, how do I put it? Like, there was just some, like, one of the people there ended up lying on stand and stuff like that. So, basically, they had, like, a lot of mess-ups in that case. So, ended up they becoming guilty. They're in there for life. They're separate. They can't see each other. I think they had a reunion, like, once. What's it called? Yeah. Right here it says the defense was that they banded together to finally confront their father, to go public with their abuse and destroy his reputation if he didn't stop. But they feared retaliation in their lives, so they bought guns. That's the reason why they bought guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was, like, the whole thing. That's where it all started. Right? But anyways, they get put in jail for life. They ended up getting married in jail, because, like, I guess people would write to them.
Uh-huh.
So he got married to, so Lyle ended up getting married to a model, right, in jail. But then, what's it called? Like, he ended up, like, cheating on him with writing notes to someone else. So Lyle ended up marrying, what's it called? What was her name? Like, Rebecca Sneed or something like that. Who's a magazine editor turned attorney. That's what the, like, thing I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eric married a girl named Tammy Sakona, something like that. And he would been pen paling her for 6 years before they got married. And, I mean, this case was so big, like, that, like, Bojnik, the one that I hate the most, like, that lawyer, like, she went on a TV show later and said, oh, this is the reason why, like, I'm famous. It's because of this, right? And, what's it called? It's, like, there's a lot to it. Like, it's kind of hard to explain it, kind of to, like, see it. Because a lot of stuff is just, like, I remember when I send you the documentary, you're going to see, it's, like, when I saw this, like, in the room, because this person was in the room, like, I felt so bad for these kids, right? But then going back and rewatching it, he was like, I know they were lying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, the fuck? No, they were not lying. Like, I don't think anyone looks like that and, like, is lying. Like, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's, like, the main part of the story. That is the whole story, but I want to just go and talk a bit more about other stuff inside of it. So, my thing is that should the boys still be in jail now? Because they're still in jail right now.
Yeah.
They're, like, in, I think, 40s or something like that, right? What's your opinion? Because my opinion is I don't think they should be.
Honestly, I think they should.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was kind of like, I don't know, because you said that one of them wanted to plan it out, so then that would have been murder to the first degree,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then at the same time, it could be justified as self-defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it really all comes down to, like, how the events unfolded, you know?
Yeah, I feel like, in a sense, they should have taken it differently.
Yeah.
And been like, oh, like, from the
I
beginning.
feel like they should have just told the police.
From the beginning, like
that, I know
I
that's like...
killed my parents because they did this to me, but, like,
Yeah.
they didn't. They ended up going on shopping sprees and stuff like that, which is, like, then I can understand why people are like, oh, like, these did it for money, and, like, the
Mhm.
whole, like, them getting raped is, like, probably fake, and they made it up, right? Which is, like, it pisses me off when they say that, but at the same time, it's, like, if you think about it, if they were getting, like, raped by their dad and, like, abused by him, like, I honestly could understand why they would, like, do that, right? And it's, like, I think they spend enough years in prison. Like, it's almost like, 30-ish years in prison. I think they understood what they did was wrong. And, like, and you can see as, like, there's other interviews, like, from jail. And you can see, like, oh, yeah, like, they regret the whole entire thing. Like, they wish it never happened. But, like, they can't get out of jail now because they're in there for life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think that, what's it called? I don't think they should be in prison for killing someone who was as shitty as their dad. That's all I'm saying. Because I just feel like, what's it called? They were not handed the right cards.
No, definitely not.
But I was like, it depends. Like, these kids had fans. Like, there's, like, girls, like, waiting outside. Like, they're like,
Yeah,
oh
just
my
like,
God. Like,
Ted Bundy.
mm-hmm.
He had girls that wanted to, like, marry him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
And one girl ended up marrying. Well, not from the fans, but, like, he had a girlfriend or something. And then, like, who knows? Like, there's a bunch of stuff. He had a kid. Ted Bundy has a kid. Do you know that? Yeah.
Is he really?
I think so.
I thought his kid was, like, from when he met his first girlfriend.
Ted Bundy's daughter, Rose Bundy. Rose Bundy, also known as Rosa, is believed to be the only child of the infamous serial killer Ted Bundy. She was born in early October 1981. She would be 38 years old now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, anyways. I'm gonna put some stuff down so you can, like, I guess, learn a bit more about it. But this is, like, the basic of information of it, because there's so much you can put in here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of, I don't know how to, like, exactly word. Excuse me! Well, we all know that the Menendez brothers did it. And we all know what happened. Give us your opinion on everything and what your thoughts on these are.
Yeah.
In the comments down below. I'm gonna try to see if we can set up a podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, if you guys liked this episode, make sure to like, subscribe. Like Gabby said, we'll be trying to get out there on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to fact check us in the comments.
Yep.
And let us know what, you think about this case. I think this was a heavy hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's just, you see one image and then you have an entire story.
Mm-hmm.
So, we post every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks to you guys for watching.
Oh yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Jesus.
Bye!